What's up, guys? So today, another thing of PEDs report came out today, much like the Mitchell report in 2007. The Miami Herald today broke a story that a clinic in Miami was giving performance-enhancing drugs to certain MLB superstars. There was 20 of them listed on this paper. Only 7 names have been released so far. Such names as Alex Rodriguez, Gio Gonzalez, Melky Cabrera, Bartolo Colon, Nelson Cruz, Yasmani Grandal have all been somewhat linked, some linked more than others to this Miami clinic. And which brings me to the point of this whole video that I think it's time that the MLB goes and boosts up their PED suspension and drug use program. Now, this year, the players agreed that they can randomly test for HGH at any time they feel necessary, which is a big step in the right direction. You know, blood testing for HGH is something, they'll catch just people who are using over amounts of testosterone, and the human growth hormone, as well, tests for it and everything else. So they're making strides towards making it one of the strictest drug programs in baseball. But it seems like over the last 2 years, 3 years or so, there's been more people getting caught than ever. Braun had a dirty test that he was proven innocent for, but he got off on a loophole because the guy did not submit Braun's test right away. He held this sample overnight. And then, Rodriguez, he came out in 09. McGuire came out and admitted it. Sosa came out and admitted it. Clemens still denies it. Bartolo Colon's been suspended. Manny Ramirez has been suspended twice. Melky Cabrera got suspended. A slew of minor leaguers have got suspended. In baseball, up until 2003, their drug program was a joke. Congress had to step in and make baseball, strengthen it up because these guys were taking all these steroids and drugs, and there was nothing really against it, and baseball wasn't really doing anything to stop it. Since 2003, you can definitely tell that the amount of steroids and PEDs being used in baseball has gone down. Look at the offensive numbers. Guys aren't hitting 50 as many. Pitchers are becoming more dominant again, have been over the last 3 or 4 years. But it still does not help when you get guys that were, even though they're past their primes, like a Manny Ramirez or Alex Rodriguez, are getting caught. Still, huge guys that put up numbers were faces of MLB at one point in time getting caught, and it scars the name of baseball even more. Which brings me to my point, they have to go and strengthen up the suspension rate. They made it 50 games a few years back. I think Manny Ramirez was the first one that got the very first 50-game suspension for testing positive for PEDs. But that's not good enough anymore. They need to boost it up. I think it goes 50 games, 100 games, a whole season, and then lifetime ban on your 4th caught. But that's not good enough. What they need to do is they need to tell these guys, if you truly want to flush this stuff out of baseball and stop getting scar after scar after scar on your name, on your reputation, if we're going to run a clean sport, we're going to have players play at the highest level of athletic abilities, and it's a clean game. You want your kids to watch this stuff, to look up, man, I want to be Ryan Braun. I want to be Mike Trout, When those guys come back and they're peeing dirty, and, what do you tell your kid? Well, sorry, your favorite player's, he's a drug user and he cheated. This needs to stop. What I think they need to do, you get caught once, you're out for a year. You get caught twice, you're out for 2 years. The first 2 times you're caught, you're out for a season. 3rd time, you're banned from baseball. That's it. That's the only way you're going to get through to these guys. 50 games is obviously too light if we're still hearing about this, especially lately, as much as we are. Every year it seems like some guy is coming back too high testosterone level, especially last year. Colon was caught, and all of a sudden Melky was caught. And these were guys that, Bartolo Colon wasn't having a bad season. Melky Cabrera was on his way to win an NL MVP. He was having a hell of a year. With the Giants, he was one of the main offensive pieces. He was leading the NL in hitting. I think he still was, but he disqualified himself from the batting title. So you got these guys that are playing very well, And then you find out they're taking all this testosterone. They're raising their testosterone levels, and they don't care. These players must not obviously care about the suspension and the severity of the suspension if you're getting caught as frequent and as much as they are. You go and you raise the suspension level. Now I know the whole thing where the player union has to agree with it to raise it, but if they're willing to have blood testing and HGH testing, there's no reason why the players union will not agree to a stricter punishment. If you are a player, a star name player, you're a Matt Kemp, you're a Miguel Cabrera, you're a Trout, you should not care about how strict the fines are. If you are a clean player through and through, you should not care about how long the suspension is, because you're a clean player. You never have to worry about that. It should be, the players union should have no problem voting this through, and that's the only way baseball is ever going to be clean. Now, you're still going to have your guys that get caught every now and then, but you raise the severity, you watch how much it dips. And like I said, there's always going to be that one idiot that tries to beat the system. There's always going to be someone getting caught. But the frequent amount, I think that how big the names are, the superstars are getting caught, it's going to start going away if you raise the length of the punishment and the severity. And now, like I said, the players union should have no problem voting this. If you are a clean player, it does not affect you. You should be all for it. But the players union is going to. They fought for that. For a while they fought against that stricter drug testing, but they need to let it through. Clean the game of baseball up a bit more. Like I said, it's not as bad as it was. Like I started watching baseball in 2003. All the late 90s players still at the end of their juicing. It's not as bad as them, but it's these people getting caught for testosterone. All these new reports coming out. It just needs to stop, because it makes the game of baseball look horrible. You cannot hit 40 home runs anymore without the whole slew of media. This guy's on drugs. This guy's on drugs. Like this year when Derek Jeter, he had a great year. You got Skip Bayless, who's an ass clown anyways, but Skip Bayless on ESPN accusing Jeter of maybe taking something because he's having a good season. Which I thought was way wrong, because you got Jeter, who averages 200 hits a season, career 300 hitter. There should never be any doubts of someone at his caliber having a good season at his age. But that's just the point of baseball. You can't trust anyone. You don't know if someone had an MVP season. Next year they're suspended for 50 games because they were out. They had too high testosterone. Like Carlos Ruiz, when he got caught with those pills or whatever, he got only 25-game suspension. So you raise the fine, you raise the severity of the suspension. You tell people, you tell the players, you send a message. Look, you get caught, you do your time. We're not joking. We want this stuff out of our sport. That's the only way it's going to go. Until then, stuff like this, all these new reports are going to keep happening year after year, and it's just not going to stop. So that's all I got to say for you guys. They need to raise this the suspension and make it more severe. That's all I got.